Kenny Omega might be famous for wrestling blow-up dolls, but I think someone has blown up his head. I think someone has inflated his ego because he's just compared his dangerous, stupid moves in the ring to Mike bloody Tyson. Welcome back, guys, to Fog Wrestling. Kenny Omega's nickname is The Cleaner, and you know what? He should probably stick to cleaning toilets because his shit absolutely stinks. Kenny Omega recently was basically bashing all his critics that say his style is too dangerous, and he told them to, quote, shut the fuck up. Now, there's been a lot of people critical of Kenny Omega, and this isn't just fans, this is actually including former wrestlers, wrestlers with experience, wrestlers that went through really bad injuries. I did watch a Stevie Richards breakdown of the Kenny Omega move where he politely said that this move is dumb and that you should not be taking this move and this is a dangerous move, but Kenny Omega seems to think he knows better than everyone else. And you know what? Him being an idiot, him being a mark, him wanting to put on really dangerous spots in a sport that, let's be honest, is fucking fake. And the whole point of wrestling is to protect your opponent, protect yourself, and make it look as real as possible while keeping everything safe. But Kenny Omega wants to make things look as fake as possible while making it as dangerous as possible. What sense does that make? Not a lot. This guy is willing to risk breaking his neck just to try and get an extra half a star of Meltzer. But this is what he had to say. And then he went and compared himself to Mike Tyson, which in my opinion, maybe this guy's been dropped on his head too many bloody times. But this is what Kenny Omega had to say based on his match at Forbidden Door and the criticism he's received since then. And you know what? Maybe he should just own up to it. Look at the amount of criticism he gets. Maybe he should think, you know what, there's a lot of pros here. There's a lot of experienced people in the wrestling business criticising me, saying that I'm unsafe, saying that I do a lot of dangerous stuff in the ring. Maybe he should take note of that. But instead, all he's going to do is bash people that were a way better than him, people that have a lot more experience than him, people that know a lot more than him. At the end of the day, Kenny Omega, outside of Japan, this guy is nothing. This guy is a fucking piece of dirt on the floor. He's not a star. He's not on anybody's Mount Rushmore. He might be on Dave Meltzer's Mount Rushmore, but he's probably on Dave Meltzer's walls. Meltzer? Who the fuck is Waltzer? Meltzer's probably got posters this guy all over his fucking bedroom where he jacks off at night to Kenny Omega. So, you know what, maybe he should call in the cleaner and clean that shit up. But that's what Kenny Omega had to say regarding the criticism he received for his match. Quote, there are people who want to complain and put themselves on a pedestal by saying what we did was dangerous. Well, you think? So I've been asked, why did we do it? It made sense in the match and evoked emotion, and we both knew I would end up coming out of the move unscathed. Is there a risk? Sure. There's always a risk. End of quote. Okay, listen, that move did not add any emotion to the match. It did not advance any sort of story. All it did was legitimately make people think, wow, he could have just broke his neck. That's all it did. It didn't add fucking anything. It didn't make the match better. It didn't somehow tell a story. It didn't get a lot of emotion. It just got people going, what an idiot for taking a move like that. Why is he doing that? And then he says that they both knew he would come out of the move unscathed, but then said that they both acknowledge that there is a risk. So obviously he's bullshitting. You did not know they were going to come out the move unscathed. There was a danger in doing that move. So, I mean, Kenny Omega talking shit as per usual. But then he goes on to mention Mike Tyson. And it's very strange because he's comparing an actual sport where Mike Tyson had to use certain strategies, or Mike Tyson, this guy doesn't know shit about boxing, right? Mike Tyson, with his movement, with his size, Mike Tyson, he wasn't the biggest, he didn't have the biggest height, he didn't have the biggest reach. Mike Tyson stayed on people because it suited his style. He had the shorter arms, and he just went in and he just destroyed people. He blew them away. Kenny Omega then talks about how Mike Tyson should have tried to stay out of range and hit the jab. Look at Mike Tyson. Look at fucking the size of Mike Tyson. If Mike Tyson tried to stay out of range and jab opponents, he would have lost almost every single fight. I mean, this guy obviously knows fuck all about boxing, but this is what he had to say about Mike Tyson. Quote, look at the way Mike Tyson boxed. His style was so dangerous. He stayed so close to his opponent. What was he doing in style? Shouldn't he have fought more stick and move and waited for the counter punch? Wouldn't that have been better for his brain? Didn't he understand how dangerous it was? But that's what made him Mike Tyson. Don't tell me not to wrestle the way I know how to wrestle. Is there a risk? Was there a risk when Mike Tyson was fighting within inches of space between another championship level boxer throwing power punches? Of course. But Tyson was confident in his abilities and he knew he was the best. So don't tell Mike Tyson how to box and don't tell Kenny Omega how to wrestle. You aren't even close to being qualified. Just shut the fuck up. End of quote. Maybe it's Kenny Omega that should shut the fuck up because he's clearly not qualified to talk about boxing. Mike Tyson. That was Mike Tyson's style. He was an inside fighter. He was a pressure fighter. He did not give his opponents time to breathe. And if you look at fights where he did, Mike Tyson versus Lennox Lewis, he was kept on the jab. Lennox Lewis kept him out of range the entire night, and it was an easy fight for Lennox Lewis. Mike Tyson, with his size, the fact he was shorter, the fact he didn't have a bigger reach as most heavyweights, he had to get in close. He had to get in close to the body and try and work the body and throw uppercuts and be within range of his opponent. If he was out of range, then he would not have been able to win fights because he wouldn't have been able to connect because he's much shorter. He's got a shorter reach. But Kenny Omega is comparing an actual legitimate fight to a predetermined sport, and that is retarded. That is fucking retarded. Anyone can die in boxing. It doesn't matter what style you do. It doesn't matter what way you try and fight, whether you're a power puncher or you throw jabs or you're an inside fighter or an outside fighter. It's just one of those things. If you're taking consecutive shots to the brain, unfortunately, one punch can kill. And that is the same with wrestling. But at least in boxing, these are people, you're having to try whatever you can because your opponent is trying his best to stop you. Your opponent is trying to win. In wrestling, you're actually working together. How can Kenny Omega not grasp this? In wrestling, you work with your opponent. Wrestling is essentially a dance. And your opponent is your dance partner, and you need to try and dance as safely as you can with your opponent to get to the end of the dance. In boxing, you're legitimately trying to punch your opponent without getting hit. You're legitimately trying to knock your opponent out before he knocks you out. How can Kenny Omega not grasp this? I'll tell you, because he's a fucking idiot. And I don't know, guys, if there is 10 reasons why Kenny Omega sucks on this channel. I'm going to go and look at the history. If there's not, there will be one coming soon, because Kenny Omega, guys, does indeed suck. This guy is not a top talent. This guy is not a GOAT. This guy is not one of the best of all time. Anyone that compares him to Shawn Michaels does not know anything about wrestling. It's as simple as that. Kenny Omega sucks. AEW sucks. Dave Meltzer sucks as well. Dave Meltzer, fuck Dave Meltzer. He's the reason half of these guys are trying to kill themselves just to get a couple of stars off of him. What a bloody idiot. Anyway, guys, that's it. Catch you in the next one. Till then, leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe, and peace.